did make a deal. On the field, the Royals will hope to build on last night's exciting win for Game 3 with the Baltimore Orioles. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. The Royals with an exciting ninth-inning win, their first walk-off home run in 2 seasons. That was news. The Royals made a trade 3 hours ago. That was news. But let's begin with Ned Yost getting a 2-year extension.
And that was news also, Ryan. I mean, that was good for the ball club. Dayton Moore feels like he's the right guy to go forward with this ball club because of his positive energy, and he's one of those guys that pays attention to details.
So by getting the contract extension, we know how the Royals feel about Ned Yost. Here's what Ned Yost has to say about the Royals.
This is the place where I wanted to be. As soon as I got here this spring, I could see our farm system. I could see our staff, our scouting department, our player development department, and I could just see the light at the end of the tunnel, if you would, here. The people that are here are fantastic. I love the people that I work with. I love the challenge of helping Dayton and our staffs turn the Kansas City Royals into champions.
And now, Frank, on his first day as full-time manager, he's missing a big piece in the back end of the bullpen and a center fielder. Kyle Farnsworth and Rick Ankiel are headed to the Braves.
Well, that's right, Ryan. Rick Ankiel got healthy just at the right time and showed he could play center field and should provide some pop for Atlanta. Kyle Farnsworth, only 7 runs in his last 35 and a third innings.
General Manager Dayton Moore talks about the other end of the trade.
We acquired 3 players. 2 will be on our major league team immediately, and the other one, according to our scouts, potentially have a chance to be on our major league team next year as a left-handed reliever. So it's it's a good deal for us.
And the 2 players that are expected to join the Royals immediately, perhaps tomorrow, outfielder Gregor Blanco, pitcher Jesse Chavez. The Royals have seen him with the Braves and the Pirates. And Tim Collins, a lefty, will report to AAA Omaha. So that's what's coming tomorrow. Tonight, Zach Greinke faces the Baltimore Orioles, trying to bounce back from a terrible start against the Minnesota Twins on Monday. And we'll get into that when we come back. brought to you tonight by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. At the beginning of this homestand on Monday, Zach Greinke lasted just 4 innings against the Minnesota Twins. He gave up 6 runs in the first inning, including a grand slam to Danny Valencia. So he's trying to bounce back tonight against the Baltimore Orioles. And here's Frank with the Kia report.
Well, Ryan, you're right about Zach's last outing. Just need to try to locate his fastball early. And if he does that, it would open up opportunities for those secondary pitches to get in there. He allowed 8 runs in his last start, 8 allowed in the previous 3 starts. So you can see where if he can locate early and utilize the secondary pitches, those numbers go down.
The lineup he will face tonight is presented by M&I Bank. One change. Last year at the trading deadline, the Orioles picked up third baseman Josh Bell. He was just called up, so he'll play at third, which means Luke Scott is the designated hitter, and Ty Wigginton moves from third base over to first base. And speaking of third base, that opens up at least for tonight for Mike Aviles, as Chris Getz is going to get some more playing time at second. So an opportunity for Aviles at third as the Royals play Game 3 with the Orioles, and the first pitch is next. High Definition, brought to you by Time Warner Cable, where HD is free with digital cable. Let's go out to right field and check in with Joel Goldberg.
Well, Ryan, you guys were talking about the trade deadline, and I can tell you it was almost surreal being down there in the Royals clubhouse as the trade deadline hit, because they had the reports on TV. Some players were watching. To some, it was background noise. And then you saw Rick Ankiel walk towards Ned Yost's office, and Dayton Moore was in there. You saw Kyle Farnsworth walk over, and that's sort of how the players made the assumptions that those guys had just been traded. Then the news trickled in, the hugs goodbye, the wishes, the good lucks, and they'll get ready to welcome in a couple more teammates tomorrow. But everybody kind of watching and wondering, could it be me, or who is it going to be? They found out those answers this afternoon, guys.
Well, they're heading to a first-place club, and the Atlanta Braves have a 3.5-game lead over the Phillies in the National League East, trying to send off Bobby Cox with a playoff season. And And Zach Greinke begins the game with a leadoff walk to Brian Roberts.
All right, I was never traded in my career, but I tell you, if I'm going to get traded, I'd rather get traded to a team that's got a chance to win. And all the guys that we've let go have an opportunity to be in the playoffs. And I think that's what it's all about.
Alberto Callaspo going to the Angels. They're 8 games back in the American League West. Scott Pasednik going to the Dodgers. They're 7 games back in the National League West. And now Ankiel and Farnsworth going to a first-place team. 1 strike on Nick Markakis after the leadoff walk to Brian Roberts. So not the start that Zach Greinke was looking for. Remember, in his last start on Monday against Minnesota, he gave up 6 runs in the first inning. No balls, 2 strikes on Markakis. It is our annual salute to the Negro Leagues, with the Royals wearing a version of the Monarchs uniform, and the Baltimore Orioles wearing the uniform of the Baltimore Elite Giants. An 0-2 pitch is hit hard to center field, and Mitch Meyer, who's back as the regular center fielder after the trade of Ankiel, makes the catch for the first out. 87 degrees, and we started right on time at 6:10 Central Daylight Time. Time at 10 brought to you by The Parking Spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The Parking Spot at KCI. And with our salute to the Negro Leagues and saying we started right on time, it reminds me of Buck O'Neil. Right on time.
Yeah, he said that no matter where I am, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I can't think of any other place I'd rather be than right here.
Ty Wigginton has had an excellent series so far. 4 hits, 2 of those doubles, and he has driven in 3. And Zach with a slow curveball that missed inside, 2-0. Betancourt comes up. They get the out at second base, but no double play. Gets unable to put anything on the throw. So 2 down with Roberts forced out at second base. Here are the Royals defensively tonight, presented by Suzuki. Gordon, Meyer, Bloomquist in the outfield. Aviles, Betancourt, Getz, and Butler around the horn. Jason Kendall behind the plate. So an outfield this season that began with Pasednik, Ankiel, and DeJesus now has the converted third baseman Alex Gordon in left field, Mitch Meyer, who is the backup outfielder, in center, and Willie Bloomquist, normally an infielder who can play the outfield, starts in right field tonight. One strike on Luke Scott. 1 for 7 in the first 2 games with an RBI.
After hitting 2 home runs off Zach and Zach's last start against Luke Scott, it doesn't surprise me that he starts him off with a curveball first pitch.
And that last start against the Orioles was back on May the 18th. And Zach pitched very well. That was that stretch in the season when Zach looked a lot like he did last year, but was just getting no run support. Excellent changeup. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think he showed he's not going to be aggressive with him with his fastball, Ryan. Good curveball for a strike. Excellent changeup. Ball goes down underneath his swing.
Zach went 7 innings against the Orioles in May, gave up 2 runs. He left the game with a 3-2 lead, but was the victim of a blown save. He strikes out Luke Scott and works around the leadoff walk. Among other news today, Ned Yost gets a 2-year contract extension. So here is his lineup tonight, presented by M&I Bank. Chris Getz will lead off again for the second straight night. Alex Gordon with the walk-off home run. He will move up to the number 5 position in the batting order. Mike Aviles plays at third base. Mitch Meyer is back out in center field, and Willie Bloomquist starts in right. Last night, Chris Getz, leading off against Jake Arrieta, had a 13-pitch plate appearance. He fouled off 7 pitches and eventually struck out, but that really set the tone for the inning, and you wonder how much that took away from Arrieta, because after Getz was out, the Royals went on to score 3 runs. 24-year-old Brad Bergeson on the mound for the Orioles tonight. Let's take a look at the Kia report.
But he's having a tough time, Ryan. 7-game losing streak. Hasn't won since June 26th. He's out allowing a lot of home runs, allowed 3 home runs his last start. And the key to the Royals to me tonight is just be patient.
Up the middle. And cutting it off is Julio Lugo, who has not played yet in this series, and he makes a nice play to get Chris Getz. The Orioles defensively, same outfield tonight. PA, Jones, and Markakis. A different left side with Josh Bell at third, Julio Lugo at short, Brian Roberts and Ty Wigginton on the right side, and Matt Wieters rounds out the Orioles defense, presented by Suzuki. So 1 away to Jason Kendall. 2 hits, a couple of walks, 2 runs scored for Kendall in the first 2 games. Down, no balls, 2 strikes. Last year, the Royals faced Brad Bergeson, and he pitched very well. He beat the Royals. He had to leave early. Billy Butler hit a line drive off of his shin that knocked him out at the end of the inning. But then this year, the Royals faced Bergeson at Camden Yards back in May, and they beat him. So 1-1 in his career against KC. As Kendall pops it foul, still 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the battle continues at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bergeson is from the Orioles system, taken in the 4th round in 2004. And then 4 years later was the Orioles minor league pitcher of the year. Kendall puts it in play. Markakis was shallow, so he's back, and there are 2 down. Nice crowd here so far tonight on the annual salute to the Negro Leagues, and the first 20,000 fans getting a Kansas City Monarchs cap. We're going to be joined by Greg Baker of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in the 3rd inning. So here's Billy Butler. It was a year ago yesterday that Billy Butler hit a line drive off of Bergeson's left shin and ended his season. And now Billy fouls it off of his foot, so they're even.
Payback. Well, I remember that. I mean, that was some kind of line drive. He took it flush, too, right off the leg.
And I don't know how he didn't break his leg.
Well, with the way he went off the field, you would assume that it was.
Billy 2 out of 6, 3 walks in the first 2 games, and has scored a couple of runs. On the outside corner, and the Royals are down quickly in the first inning. And the Orioles sending up Adam Jones, Felix P.A., and Matt Wieters. Zach Greinke giving up a walk to begin the game. Brad Bergeson, who's cooling off in front of the fan in the Orioles dugout, got the Royals in order. So Zach waiting on Adam Jones, 0 for 8 in the first 2 games, and 0 for his last 12. Zach starts him off with a changeup.
And we saw Adam Jones last year, Ryan. You look at Adam Jones, you're saying this guy's going to be a superstar in the game. I mean, he drafted as a shortstop, switched to center field, and you saw the speed and power he had last year. You know, you think that the way you see him now, I mean, the home runs numbers are still there, but, you know, he just being able to get the average up, get on base, steal bases, use all of his tools, you're just not seeing everything working.
Curveball at 65 miles an hour. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
But right now, Zach is using a great complement of pitches. Now, this curveball, Ryan, is not a good curveball. This one backs right up into the swing. He probably wanted to go to the other side of the plate, and that's when, if he does a lot, eventually may get caught by a right-handed hitter.
Well, in the first 2 innings, he's thrown as many curveballs tonight as he has in maybe his last 5 starts.
Well,
I'm talking about the slow curveball.
Right. Normally he's trying to establish a fastball, but tonight he's saying, okay, I'm going to utilize all my pitches. So the one pitch we haven't seen yet is the slider. We've seen different variations of the curveball and the fastball.
So pretty even with fastball, breaking ball, off speed. If you combine the breaking ball and the off-speed pitches. 2-2 on Jones, and now full count. Well, after having a very good year last year, Adam Jones went to the All-Star game and then won a Gold Glove, which you always wonder how a young guy is going to handle that, and maybe comes back from the All-Star game thinking he has to do something in addition to what he's already done, and sometimes that has a player heading in the wrong direction. Gets it off the end of the bat, so he puts an end to an 0 for 12. And the Orioles have the leadoff man on for the 2nd straight inning.
And he got a long body and long arms. And you see his curveball come out of Zach's hands right here. Adam Jones just gets right on the end of the bat, and strength just bring this ball back to left field. Didn't hit it very well at all. Just hit it in a good spot.
Jones has good speed, but only 4 stolen bases all year. He's been thrown out more times than he has been successful. He has been gunned down 6 times. He did pick up a stolen base in last night's game, and because of a throwing error by Jason Kendall, went to third on the same play and eventually scored. Two and 0 on Felix P.A.
And sometimes, Ryan, when you get a lot of young guys together and they come up through the minor leagues together, come to the big leagues together, and then they start separating themselves at this level by having great years, such as Adam Jones last year. And then you come back this year and you got more young guys, so you don't have that good mixture of veterans and young guys to kind of take you to that next level. So if you don't really push yourself, it's kind of hard to get there. And you coming out every day, you're not winning ball games, and that makes a big difference too.
And then the fans and maybe even some of your teammates are looking to you because you're the all-star.
It's all about how you carry yourself and how you come to work, how you show up every day, and how you go about your business.
Jones drafted in the first round by the Mariners back in 2003 and involved in the trade that sent Eric Bedard from Baltimore to the Mariners. P.A. lines it to center field. That'll drop in front of Mitch Meyer. And the Orioles have 2 on with nobody out. Before and after every game here on Fox Sports Kansas City, we hope you'll join us for Royals Live as Joe Goldberg brings you the latest Royals news and breaks down the game's action. For complete Royals pre- and post-game coverage, tune in to Royals Live here on Fox Sports Kansas City. Jones at second, PA at first, and now Matt Wieters, who is hitless so far in the series. Wieters arrived with an 8-game hitting streak, but here at Kauffman Stadium is 0 for 7. He has reached base twice by way of a walk. Two balls, no strikes. Three and 0. Well, you can tell already, and it's only the second inning, and sometimes it takes a pitcher a while to get it going, but Zach does not have his best control. And as we showed you early in this inning, he is throwing as many breaking ball and changeups as he is fastballs. 90 miles an hour over the outside corner.
Well, you're right, Ryan. I think a lot of it goes back to trying to, in Zach's mind, he changes. When he thinks someone has an idea of what he wants to do, he'll go and change his whole game plan. And then normally his game plan is fastball location, get ahead, and then strike out with the slider. And now he's mixing it up a little bit more.
Out at second, and for a moment the Royals were looking at a triple play. They'll settle for the double play with Betancourt getting to the bag in front of Jones.
Ball's hit very well. You see Adam Jones out there at shortstop. Anything to your left, you got to know where that shortstop is. We just right behind you, and that's a line drive head high. You got to freeze. You can't go toward the next base, and that's a double play that you and I both, Ryan, agree should never happen.
It just seems to me one of the rules that you learn in the lower levels of baseball, even before high school, freeze on a line drive.
You got to freeze on a line drive, but before that, you got to look to see where that shortstop's playing. And if he's playing directly behind you and there's a line drive right at you, you know he's got to be in the vicinity somewhere. So you got to freeze and get back to the bag.
This is Josh Bell, and last year at the trading deadline, the Orioles sent left-handed reliever George Sherrill to the Dodgers, picking up Josh Bell, who was one of the Dodgers' power prospects, a fourth-round draft pick in 2005. He has had 19 at-bats with the Orioles this year and was down in the minor leagues, called back up when the Orioles traded away Miguel Tejada 2 days ago.
Talking to first base coach John Shelby about Josh Bell, and he said he's got big time power.
Zach picks off Felix Pie. So 2 on, nobody out for the Orioles, and all of a sudden the inning is over. Orioles had a promising start to the second inning with back-to-back base runners against Zach Greinke, but come up empty in the second inning thanks to a double play and Zach picking off Felix Pie. Jose Guillen, Alex Gordon, and Mike Aviles in the bottom of the second inning. Royals down in order against Brad Bergeson in the first. Jose 1 for 9 in the first two games with a double, and that was his 300th career double. High in the air to the right side, and Brian Roberts running along the rim of the outfield grass to make the catch. So one down, Alex Gordon comes up, and we go back to Joel.
Well, guys, we saw that walk-off last night for Alex Gordon, and when he joined me at the end of the game there for the interview, he was saying that somebody got him in the eye. He was wondering if he had a black eye, and of course nowadays they celebrate that. Tried to do a little investigative reporting, figure out who it was. I know a couple of guys it wasn't. It wasn't Mitch Meyer, because Mitch said to me, I know it wasn't me because I got the shot in on the kidneys. All right? It wasn't him. Well, I asked Mike Aviles. He said, no, I wish it was me, but it wasn't me. Now, the truck was looking at the video a little bit, and they're going to come up with the guess that maybe it was Rick Ankiel. Left-handed shot, plus he's gone. Easy to take a shot at him with that now. So we're going to go with Rick Ankiel as far as getting him in the eye last night. What happened to just a little high five, guys?
I think the video supports it. Keep your eye on Ankiel. See that? See that? Get the left hook in there.
Who thought of that?
I have no idea.
How about Mitch, though? It wasn't me. I got him in the kidneys.
Or Aviles.
Yeah,
I wish it was
no,
me,
I wish
but
it was
wasn't.
me.
Yeah, kidney punches are illegal.
Something about that group, Frank, that came up with the minors together. They all want to get each other.
Must have been something in Wichita. Alex will be at first base with one out. A hot smash to Ty Wigginton. Sprint, you call it tonight. What recent move will benefit the Royals the most? Scott Pasednik to the Dodgers for a catcher and a minor league pitcher. Rick Ankiel and Kyle Farnsworth to the Braves. They get 3 players for that. Alex Gordon called up with David DeJesus injured. Or Alberto Callaspo to the Angels for Sean O'Sullivan and Will Smith. 3 trades, and the Royals have picked up 7 players. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, a space, and then A, B, C, or D. That is going to be an error, by the way, on Ty Wigginton, allowing Alex Gordon to reach with one out.
Ryan, the one thing that wasn't mentioned on You Call It was the extension of Ned Yost. And what a difference do the fans think that would make?
Well, I think most people assumed it was going to happen eventually. It wasn't if, it was when. And the timing is good as the Royals are losing veteran players, proven veteran players, and turning the wheel over to some younger, unproven players. Allow the roster to know where the leadership is going to be the next 2 years. Well, 51% going with Alex Gordon so far, and that certainly paid off last night with the 3-run home run, and now up to 58%. What do you think, Frank?
Well, I kind of like the deal with the Braves. I mean, you get back 2 players that are going to come right here to your ball club and play, and then you have one guy that's in AAA, and he will have a great opportunity to be here next year. And so I think the trades that bring guys right to your team, a lot of times, in my opinion, is going to help your team the fastest.
Force at second base. Roberts with a very quick turn. That'll make Frank White smile.
They've got him many outs.
Last I checked, you only need 3 outs to get out of the inning. And the inning is over. Royals baseball is brought to you by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network, AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Panera Bread. Explore a menu of hearty soups, salads, sandwiches, and breakfast items at Panera Bread. No score to the third inning. Zach Greinke getting around back-to-back hits in the second inning thanks to a line drive double play and Zach picking off a runner. And that happened with Josh Bell standing at the plate. So Bell gets a fresh count and fouls away the first pitch. Look out. Into the camera bay past the Orioles third base dugout. Luckily everyone's all right.
It's got to be something. You're looking at the game through the camera, and now you see the ball coming right at you and knowing when to move.
And now Bell is out. Zach strikes out his second. The next in-college night is coming up on Thursday, August the 12th. It's a 7:10 game against the Yankees. College Night, if you didn't know, offers select tickets for high school and college students with a valid ID for just $7. Plus food and beverage specials in the outfield plaza concession areas. Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. A strike to Julio Lugo. Another slow curveball, 59 miles an hour.
That's a good off-speed pitch, Ryan. But the thing I don't like about the two curveballs, one at 69 and one at 59, is they're not going across the plate. They're moving right back into the right-handed hitter.
Lugo is ready for that fastball. He got underneath it, and Mitch Meyer able to run it down for the second out. Let's get a look at Fox Tracks, brought to you by Chevy.
See, first two pitches are inside on Fox Tracks, and this is a fastball at the upper end of the zone, and you get the ball up, regardless of how hard you throw it, most hitters are going to have a good swing at it.
So 2 down to Brian Roberts, who opened the game with a walk. Taking all the way and looks at a strike. You know, you can understand if Zach is going to mix his pitches more tonight after what happened against Minnesota on Monday. He came right at the Twins, but they were ready. Gordon comes up in left field. So Zach gets to the Orioles in the third inning on just 8 pitches. What's he done? Sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game is Royals Hall of Famer Willie Wilson. And Willie called Buck a father figure. He immediately filled a void at the museum by serving as host for monthly State Farm luncheons on behalf of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. He also served as a presenter at the annual Legacy Awards and helped chair the Buck O'Neil Golf Tournament. So Buck would be proud to have Willie sitting in his seat tonight as the Royals and the Orioles honor the Negro Leagues. The Royals, of course, wearing the uniform of the Kansas City Monarchs, who I think led the world in different uniforms. I don't think we've seen the same uniform twice ever since we started doing this. And the Orioles wearing the uniform of the Baltimore Elite Giants. Mitch Meyer into deep right field. Back goes Markakis. It is gone. So that's how Mitch Meyer celebrates the trade as he takes over center field full time.
There's some balls that are hit, and Mitch, when he hits home runs, he doesn't hit a lot yet at this point, but when he does hit them, I mean, they really go. And this is no doubt about this home run. This is a line drive into the right field bullpen. Just got full extension on that fastball.
So the last run scored last night by way of a home run. The first one tonight is a long ball to right field. Both home runs going into the Royals bullpen. So two guys the Royals want to get a long look at before this season is over. Alex Gordon left, Mitch Meyer in center. Now they've gone deep in the last 4 innings of the 2 games combined. Willie did not go around, and it's 1-2.
And Bergeson, Ryan's had trouble with left-handed batters. Left-handers hitting .354 against him this year. So it's good indication just not making his pitches when he needs to make them.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
And one of the better neutralizing pitches to lefties is a changeup. Just having a changeup that you can throw down underneath the swing, going down and away, and even a two-seamer that'll have some sink.
Three wins, 9 losses. His ERA is almost 7. Opponents are hitting .332 against him this year. Bloomquist into right center. It slices back to Markakis for the first out. So the Royals wearing the uniform of the Kansas City Monarchs. Here are some notable names from the past. People forget Jackie Robinson played for the Kansas City Monarchs. Satchel Paige, the most famous. Cool Papa Bell, Buck O'Neil, Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub, and Elston Howard. Now even though the Orioles team is the elite Giants, the Monarchs were the elite team of the Negro Leagues.
They really were. Now, they're the most celebrated team from the Negro Leagues.
Betancourt out on a fly ball to right field, so 2 down in the 3rd inning, and we showed you some of the former Negro League players that were honored before the game. Even though it's been a few years now, it's just not the same without Buck. Those players from the Negro Leagues very much appreciated here in Kansas City because of the history in this city, but there was also always a special ovation waiting Buck when he was the last one to be introduced on a day like today.
Yeah, you're certainly right about that, Ryan. I had a chance to play against Elston Howard when he was catching for the New York Yankees, and my last coach in amateur ball before I went to the baseball academies was Hilton Smith, who's also a Hall of Fame pitcher from the Monarchs.
2 balls and 1 strike on Chris Getz, who grounded out to short his first time. Royals taking a 1-0 lead in this inning on a home run from Mitch Meyer. And among other numbers that have hurt Brad Bergeson this year, he has given up 17 home runs and a little over 90 innings. And Getz will walk with 2 outs. That is Bergeson's first.
I mean, just a huge difference from last year with Bergeson against left-handers. 263 last year, Ryan. 13 doubles, 5 homers, and 24 RBI. This year, 354 with 22 doubles, a triple, 8 homers, and 37 runs batted.
I remember last year a word that the Orioles used to describe Brad Bergeson. He was only 23 years old. It was his rookie year. But the word that kept coming up was that he was very polished for his age. And he sure looked it when he beat the Royals in Baltimore. Kendall to third, backhanded by Bell. And the force at second base gets Chris Getz. The Royals take the lead as Mitch Meyer opens the inning with a line drive home run to right field. Fourth inning, 1-0 Royals on the Mitch Meyer home run. Here's the Roadrunner turbo speed pitch comparison. Zach has hit 96, Bergeson 95 in the first 3 innings. Now fast is even faster. Double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. We were talking last inning about Zach's start on Monday against Minnesota. And it was interesting looking at his first 2 starts against the Twins. They really gave him fits. He was only able to go 5 innings in each of those first 2 starts, but he threw over 100 pitches in each start. So the Twins were really working him over. They were making him throw strikes. They were making him throw to the middle of the strike zone, drawing some walks. So you can understand that if Zach on Monday said, forget that, man, I'm going right after these guys. But it was like the Twins were ready for it. In his first 9 pitches of the game, Minnesota had 2 runs and 4 runners on base. And by the time the first inning was over, Minnesota scored 6. They got 2 more in the 4th, and Zach was done.
That's what you call going into a game with a plan, and all of a sudden you figure your plan's not going to work, so you got to know when to make that change. And when Zach's fastball is not being located, I don't think he goes mainly to what pitch. Am I going to go to the slider? Am I going to go to the curveball? He doesn't really know well what pitch to go to as a secondary pitch. This is an outstanding fastball. Just Mark Akins didn't have a chance on this. Just had late life, just moving up in the zone. Just couldn't catch up with it.
So Zach has struck out 3 and now deals with Ty Wigginton. Wigginton drove in 2 runs, including the game winner on Thursday, had a couple of sacrifice flies, and then last night a couple of RBI doubles. So he has 4 runs driven in, and he has hit in 6 straight games. 2 balls, 1 strike. Wigginton, a very versatile player. He is at first base tonight, third base the first 2 games. He can really play all of the infield positions. We saw him at second base in May when we were in Baltimore, and he's been used in right field and in left field. 3-1. On the corner, Wigginton was on his way to first. James Hoy reeled him back in.
Well, on this pitch here, he's got to reel him back, Ryan. This pitch is right on the corner, and Zach would like to be able to repeat that pitch, but he hasn't backed his fastball up.
Still 3-2. That hit Kendall about 3 different times.
I think it got his bare hand. That's why it went underneath his glove and came up, and that's why catchers have the ugliest hands in baseball.
So Zach walks Wigginton with 1 out. His second walk of the game. Well, why don't you head on over to FoxSportsKansasCity.com right now to read about Alex Gordon's success near the bottom of the lineup and Eric Berry's record-setting contract with the Chiefs. All this and much more at FoxSportsKansasCity.com. And because of that success at the bottom of the order, Zach bats 5th tonight. Out at second, and the Royals turn their second double play of the game. So Zach only faces 3 in the 4th. Series during the next homestand on August the 14th. The first 20,000 fans will receive a 1980 American League champion coaster set presented by AT&T. For tickets, go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. Billy Butler takes strike 1 from Brad Bergeson. Billy struck out looking in the first inning. Bergeson has struck out 1. He has walked 1. And he's given up a home run to Mitch Meyer. Over Bergeson's glove, Lugo charges in from short and still has time to throw out Billy. So 1 away to Jose Guillen. Not only did Bergeson get hit on the shin last year by Billy Butler's line drive at the end of July, but he had a very strange injury during the offseason. Bergeson injured his shoulder And he started the season on the shelf. He was filming a team commercial, which involved him throwing the baseball, and he was not at full season strength or in the type of condition that required him to throw the ball that he was asked to do. So he went into spring training with a strained shoulder because of filming a team commercial. So you wonder if that has anything to do with his numbers this year, with an ERA of just under 7 going into tonight.
You'd think they wouldn't ask him to throw a pitch game speed, you know, and he hadn't thrown a pitch in so long.
2-2 on Guillen.
Then I wasn't surprised he would throw it.
Especially nowadays, pitchers are so careful with their arms. Guillen reaching and pops it up into shallow left field. And Felix P.A. brings it down for the second out. Up comes Alex Gordon, and we'll take a look at tonight's league leaders. Brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Most walk-off wins in the American League this year, with the Royals winning in that fashion last night. The Angels, Rangers, and Orioles are tied for the most walk-off wins in front of the Tigers and the A's. Royals with 3 walk-off wins. Alex reached on an error, grounded sharply to first baseman Ty Wigginton. Wigginton charged with an error. One ball, one strike.
I talked to Alex before the game tonight, Ryan, and I asked him, I said, after failing to come through in those early attempts, how'd you feel in the 9th inning in that situation? He said, all I tried to tell myself was get a single. And in the process, he had a shorter swing, and he drove the ball to right field. And I said, well, the mindset is so important in what you're trying to get accomplished at the plate. So if you go up there with that approach and just try to get a single and stay short, he's strong enough, and we saw that last night, to keep a short swing, ball hits his bat, and he really jumps off his bat. But then he gets long in other situations. Now you roll over balls, and then you don't drive the ball like you normally do. If that was the same swing he had earlier, he would have rolled over the ball, and the ball went over a topspin and would have came down. But he got through that ball very well.
Now 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the approach that George Brett preaches, hit the ball hard, not far. And if you hit it hard, sometimes it goes far, as it did last night. This time Wigginton handles the Alex Gordon ground ball, and that's it for the Royals in the 4th inning. Of Mitch Meyer, and I'm sure he was sad to see a couple of teammates traded away to the Braves, but with Rick Ankiel going to Atlanta, that opens up an opportunity for Mitch, and he homers in his first at-bat.
Well, I think the word you use, opportunity, that's what this game's all about, and like you say, everybody's looking for that, and Mitch is getting that tonight, and he's coming through so far.
Royals and the Orioles saluting the Negro Leagues. Royals in the Monarchs uniforms. The Orioles in the Baltimore Elite Giants uniforms. Let's go down to the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat, and here's Joel.
Ryan, thanks. We got Willie here. We were just talking about how warm those uniforms might be, not thinking that it's wool, but you had to wear those, and then they were a bit toasty.
Yeah, when we used to wear them, I guess they kind of got things a lot better with the material, but it was wool when we wore them, and I tell you, on a hot day, it was really hot.
You get a chance to go to a lot of Royals games, a lot of baseball games, played in a lot of games in your career. What does it mean to be able to sit in the Buck O'Neil seat?
Well, it's a great honor, and Buck was a great man, and to sit in his seat and to just sit here and enjoy the view that he had, it's a great honor, and I wish that a lot of people that do stuff here in Kansas City could get a chance to do what I'm doing tonight.
What about his legacy and being able to take part in that as well, not just sitting here, but your involvement in the community, your involvement with the museum. Everybody's taking cover here. I don't know if you're going to do the Frank approach here. No, they stopped paying me. I'm not catching it anymore.
That's it. I'm ducking. I'm out of here.
See, I thought it was good to sit next to Frank, but there's no protection at all, so I'm no better here with you. What about that, though, to be able to help carry on that legacy, be involved with the museum and the things that you're doing?
Well, Buck, he was like a father to me. I didn't have a father, and he used to come over to my house. We'd play golf together. He knew my kid's name, which is one of them is sitting here today. It just means a great deal to me to carry on and do some things for the Negro League Museum, and especially this August when we're going to do the golf tournament. And it's just, like I said, a great honor, and I really love doing what I'm doing.
We were talking during the pregame show with Greg Baker, and we were talking a little bit about those monthly events that you guys have and the players that come over, and you've really been a big part of that. What's it like to be involved with that and to see some of the major leaguers getting over there and experiencing the history?
Well, me and Al Fitzmaurice, we used to do it every month, and it's a great honor to have talked to and been played with a lot of guys, and that everyone usually says yes. And Al, he goes a little bit deeper on the questions than I do, and I kind of give the lighter side of what they do. So we work real good as a tandem, and it's real fun.
All right, well, it's good to see you out here as always, and maybe these aren't bad seats, are they?
No, really good seats. I was telling my daughter, I said, you see the game a little different from down here instead of being up there in the suites.
You sure you don't want to catch one of those balls?
No. Frank, we know what it's like, so we know we better get out the way.
All right, so if that ball goes up there, bounces off the press box, and Frank doesn't catch it and it comes back down here, you're not getting it either.
No, I'm going to be to you the left, and Frank will probably be to the right. Somebody in the middle is going to get hurt.
Ryan, it's on you.
Well, that's not very good. Thank you, Joel. Good to see Willie back at Kauffman Stadium. And with 2 outs and nobody on, Matt Wieters will come to the plate. Wieters lined into a double play in the second inning, and that was a big play for Zach and the Royals as the Orioles opened the inning with back-to-back singles. And then after Wieters lined into a double play, Zach picked off Felix Pie. You don't see that happen very often. The first 2 batters reach, and a pitcher still faces the minimum. So Wieters is still hitless in this series. He is 0 for 8.
Well, Brian, not to really just get on players, because I know how it feels to be a player and develop as a player. But at some point in your career, you have to get it. You know what I mean? You say that inning, you got 2 base running mistakes, you get picked off, you get doubled off on a line drive, and you always wonder why isn't this team playing any better than it should be playing? And it's just things like that take you out of an inning. And that goes back to concentration and knowing the game and thinking the game. And if you continue to develop in those areas, the better you get as a player and the better your teammates get.
Now, this is the highest level of baseball, obviously, but I think most fans understand that you can't hit a Zach Greinke slider. But what they have a difficult time understanding is why a runner gets doubled off on a play like that.
Why a runner gets doubled off, why a guy gets picked off, especially if you do your homework and you know the type of move that a pitcher has, throwing to the wrong base, you're trying to go to the next base when you should stay at the base you have. It's all about making decisions and when you make them.
Wieters walks. That's the 3rd time he's done that in this series, and that's the only way he's been able to get on. And Zach has walked 3 in 4 2/3 innings. I remember when Zach pitched against the Orioles in May, you and I were very impressed that he just came right at the Orioles. And remember how many times he pitched up and in on the Orioles.
And that's something you don't see much at all. So when you really, as a pitcher, getting your brains beat out, you gotta go both sides of the plate.
Getz picks it off, flips to Betancourt, and that's the inning. Zach Greinke has pitched 5 scoreless so far. Mitch Meyer home run. Royals coming up in the bottom of the 5th inning, and we take a look at tonight's AT&T trivia question. What former Royals pitchers finished with losing records a year after winning the Cy Young Award? Now, to clarify, the pitcher didn't necessarily have to win the Cy Young with the Royals. Mike Aviles is out on 1 pitch. A pop out to Bell, so Mike is 0 for 2. Royals Cy Young winners that won it in a Royals uniform: Brett Saberhagen, David Cohn, and then Zach Greinke last year. Zach carrying a 6-10 record, so he doesn't want to add himself to that list. So think of a pitcher that eventually pitched with the Royals that had a losing season after winning the Cy Young. Ferguson staying away from Mitch Meyer. Mitch homered to right field in the 3rd inning, a line drive over the fence leading to the Royals bullpen. 1 ball, 2 strikes, back to Joel.
Well, Ryan had an interesting discussion with Mitch yesterday talking about the leadoff role on this team, and he was pointing out that he did do a lot of leading off in AAA and in AA, as Frank knows as well, and he was saying that he really believes that he can change his approach if he's in that role. And then last night, batting 9th, which would almost be like a second leadoff hitter, you saw that. 2 walks, a sacrifice, also able to handle the bat well with the hit-and-run double RBI. Tonight, moves up to the 7th. He was originally supposed to be 9th, moved up to the 7th, had the home run tonight. Didn't work out so well right there with the strikeout, but Mitch, a guy that definitely understands the game, guys.
All right, thanks, Joel. Let's take a look at that last pitch.
That was a good running fastball. Just ran right off the plate, but too close to take with 2 strikes. We've been seeing a lot of called 3rd strikes lately. And a lot of times I think that might be too much information. Players getting too much information. They say, well, when he gets to 2 strikes, this is what he likes to do. Looking for too much?
Well, in this inning, Ferguson needs only 7 pitches. Tonight by Verizon, the network with the most 3G coverage. And by Chevrolet. Come see for yourself why 1,000 people a day are switching to Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealer. Is that a giveaway tonight?
That's definitely a group shot.
Zach Greinke with 5 scoreless innings.
Got to be a club.
Yeah. Zach has struck out 4. He has walked 3. Frank, your thoughts? Exactly. 2 balls and 1 strike on Julio Lugo, who is out in a fly ball to center in the 3rd inning.
I've heard his shirt's off your back, but that's a little much for a guy.
The new concept should be shirts covering your belly. Lugo, Roberts, and Markakis in the 6th inning. Good pitch over the outside, 2-2. Julio Lugo a few years ago got a big contract from the Boston Red Sox, but that didn't last very long. Traded to St. Louis, and then in spring training this year, traded from the Cardinals to the Orioles. Thought about swinging. Laz Diaz says no swing, and it's 3-2. By the way, speaking of the umpires, Wally Bell did not return to the umpiring crew tonight. Remember, last night in the 6th inning, he left because of heat exhaustion. So Laz Diaz is the crew chief. And at second base, who we just showed you, that's Casey Moser. He comes up from the minor leagues. Nice diving play by Aviles, but unable to throw out Julio Lugo. But Aviles, by making that diving play, holds Lugo to a single.
So Mike's first try at third base, Ryan, did a good job diving for this ball, and he got to his feet quickly, but Lugo's too fast. This is a good ball for Lugo to hit. Great play for Mike to make, but he's just too fast and beats the throw to first base.
And that's lined into right field for a base hit. And Lugo will test Willie Bloomquist's arm, and he slides in ahead of the throw. The Orioles have runners at first and third with nobody out. Fox Tracks is brought to you by Quick Trip.
Well, Brian Roberts pulled his ball in the hole to right field. Bloomquist comes in charging. Lugo coming from first base didn't even hesitate at second base. He was going first and third right away. As soon as he saw the ball pass through to the infield, to the outfield, and Willie comes up and makes a strong throw. And, you know, when you look at Bloomquist, Ryan, how many throws does he actually make from right field? And he makes a nice throw, one hopper right to Michael Aviles at third base.
Another slow curveball from Zach, and it's ball 1 to Nick Markakis. He lined to center field in the 1st inning. Zach struck him out in the 4th, 0 for 2. So the tying run at third with nobody out. And that's into left center field, and that will split Gordon and Meyer. Lugo scores. Here comes Brian Roberts around third, and Nick Markakis puts the Orioles in front 2-1.
Markakis gets a changeup here, Ryan. The changeup stayed up out over the plate. Didn't go down like it normally do to a left-hander. And Markakis stayed with it and drove this ball to left center field. Mitch and Alex couldn't cut it off. Gets all the way to the wall and made it easy for Roberts to score from first base. Lugo's first, and there goes Brian Roberts.
And now Wigginton lines it to right field, and Bloomquist is there to make the catch. Wigginton 0 for 2. The double for Markakis is his 34th of the year. And only Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers has more in the American League. Fans, don't miss out on your chance to build your legacy at Kauffman Stadium. Buy your personalized Royals legacy brick today. You can choose from 3 different sizes and receive a free replica brick with your purchase. Royals.com or 877 KC Bricks with an X for information. One of the nice new features at Kauffman Stadium after the renovation, coming in through the main entrance and just looking down at all the legacy bricks, messages from one family member to another, or the thing I like to look for is how many people declare themselves the Royals' #1 fan.
There are a lot of those out there, that's for sure. But you know it's going to be there for quite a while.
It'll be interesting to hear the reasoning, and not that it's a bad decision, but why Zach Greinke has decided to go with so many slow curveballs tonight. I mean, I'm gonna venture to say that he has thrown more of those tonight than in his first 21 starts combined.
I agree with you on that. His fastball command up until his innings been pretty good. He left a couple balls up for base hits, and Wigginton got another fastball up that he hit a line drive to right field. But fastball command overall has been good in this ballgame.
Comes back with the hard slider to strike out his 5th of the game, and the second time he has struck out Luke Scott. So only 46% of his pitches are fastballs. In Bob McClure's mind, and this is not any kind of a scientific study, any kind of a perfect number in his mind, but anywhere from 65 to 70% fastballs is ideal.
Well, I mean, especially when you got a fastball like Zach and you got that kind of command with it. I mean, he just wants you to get ahead, but the one pitch that's the mystery pitch to Zach is the slider, and that, you know, when you get predictable when you throw it, and that's when you don't have as much success with it.
And now Jones bloops it out into right field in front of Willie Bloomquist. So Adam Jones, who snapped an 0 for 12 in the second inning, has 2 hits tonight, and he puts the Orioles in front by 2.
Again, this is not a bad pitch by Zach. His fastball ran in on Adam Jones' hands. He just got inside this ball and cut it and forced it out into right field. He actually got jammed with it, so Zach made the pitch he wanted to make. He just didn't get the out.
Adam Jones looked like he had special shoes made just for tonight. And I guess you can do that when you're an all-star.
I guess so. Just make a phone call.
Pulled to first. Billy's got it. He'll run to the line and tag out PA, and that's the inning. But after being scoreless through the first 5, the Orioles get 3 in the 6th. Go to visitmo.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. Welcome to Montauk State Park in Salem. The 7 springs within Montauk State Park form the headwaters of the Current River. A regular stocking of rainbow trout provides excellent fishing, and that season runs from March through October 31st. I think Frank White would enjoy some trout fishing in that river.
That trout fish is awful hard. I'd rather fish for crappie and bass.
Well, fine. We won't take you there then.
I'll go to another park. That's the great thing about Missouri.
Oh, no.
1 ball, 1 strike on Unievsky Betancourt. He flied out to right his first time up. That's how you spent the All-Star break, right?
Yes.
And shortly after the season is over, you take a fishing trip up north.
To Canada. 1 week a year. It's a lot of fun to do that.
Bell blocks it and throws out Betancourt. Okay, the answer to tonight's AT&T trivia question: what former Royals pitchers, plural, finished with losing records a year after winning the Cy Young Award? Frank and I both guessed Mark Davis winning the Cy Young with the Padres. And the other answer is
Saberhagen.
Oh. Did that say both times after he won the Cy Young?
He had those odd year, even year things going.
Wow, 7 and 12, and then 5 and 9. Slashed fair up the left field line. That's going to be extra bases for Chris Getz. Into second base with a 1-out double.
This is what Kevin Seitzer likes about Chris Getz, Ryan. He doesn't try to overswing. He doesn't try to do too much. Hit the ball where it's pitched. He stayed right behind that ball and drove it down the left field line. Just a classic hitting right there. Head right on the ball. If PA gets the ball in, try to get it into second base in time, but Chris Getz' speed gives him a double.
This is the bottom of the 6th inning, and that's only the second hit for the Royals so far. Bergeson had retired 8 in a row and 10 out of 11. No balls, 2 strikes to Kendall. He is 0 for 2. So Bergeson not pitching like a guy with a 6.95 ERA tonight. His ERA in his last 10 starts was 7.85. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Kendall. The last time Brad Bergeson won a game was May 12th. That's his 3rd strikeout. There are 2 down in the 6th inning.
You don't usually see Jason chase a pitch like this with 2 strikes. He usually has a lot better pitch selection and a lot better concentration. So obviously there's some deception there from Bergeson that gave that slider away.
This is a guy who had allowed 125 hits in 88 innings. That's a .332 opponent's batting average. Inside to Billy Butler tonight. He has given up 2 hits in 5 2/3 innings. And with 1 walk and an error committed by his first baseman Wigginton, that means 4 base runners for the Royals in almost 6 innings. Over the inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Billy is struck out and grounded out to shortstop.
Did a good job. He made Billy move his feet though on the first pitch, and then he came back and ran another 2-seamer inside, and they caught the inside corner.
The thing I remember also about Bergeson, and we're seeing it again tonight, he just has a very slow and controlled motion. You could see where it would be easy for him to repeat his mechanics. He's not herky-jerky. He doesn't have different body parts flying all over the place. He will change his arm angle from time to time like he did on that last pitch. Gets in scoring position for Butler with the count 3 balls, 1 strike. Pitch stayed up, but Billy chops it to short. Lugo lost control for a moment, but has plenty of time to recover. And that's the inning. The Royals leave Chris Getz at second base. Mitch Meyer putting the Royals in front with a home run in the bottom of the 3rd inning, his 4th of the year. Zach Greinke gave up just 2 hits in the first 5 innings, but the Orioles coming up with 3 runs on 4 hits in the 6th inning. Nick Markakis hit a 2-run double. Adam Jones a run-scoring single, and now Baltimore leads 3-1. It'll be Wieters, Bell, and Lugo in the 7th inning. Wieters has lined into a double play and walked. Zach has walked 3. He has 5 strikeouts. And Wieters gets his first hit of the series. He had been 0 for 8.
He's hit a couple balls hard, Ryan. Like you say, not much success right here, but this changeup just goes out toward the outside half, but up. And we just got that long swing and just caught it right at the right point and hit it right field. These balls aren't hit very hard, but just well placed in the outfield. And Jack's elevation of the changeup has hurt him a couple times.
1 strike on Josh Bell. He is 0 for 2. This has been a tough matchup for Zach. And the Orioles haven't really been a good team since Zach has been in the big leagues, but this was his career ERA entering the game, 5.75, and a record of 1-2. So for whatever reason, this has been a difficult team for Zach. His best outing was his last start against them back in May, but because of very little run support, he took a no decision.
Well, it was a totally different game, too. That game in Baltimore, I mean, he was throwing the ball in, off the plate, pitching both sides of the plate, changing speed. I mean, he looked great that night, and unfortunately he didn't get the win, but it was definitely something to build off of.
And when Zach took the no decision in that game against Baltimore, that was the 4th time at that point in the season, and we're only talking the middle of May, the 4th time he had been the victim of a blown save. Handed over a 3-2 lead to the bullpen. Corey Patterson hit a home run in the 8th inning to tie the game at 3, and then the Orioles won it in the 10th. Bell strikes out for the 2nd time, and that's 6 for Zach in 6 1/3 innings.
Well, this goes to show that slider's still working. When he wants to use it, it's right there. And that's the pitch that really made him last year, especially the left-handed hitters when he got a hit, the 2 strikes. That was a pitch that he was going to throw. They knew it was coming. They still couldn't hit it.
Well, now Zach's gone high-tech. Remember, the fans would bring their own K's to the ballpark to count Zach's strikeouts. I remember last year there was someone who brought Z's. Even though he was pushed around by Minnesota on Monday, Zach did strike out 7 in 4 innings. There's the most familiar count of Zach strikeouts. We saw those go up last year. Two balls, no strikes to Julio Lugo. He started the 3-run 6th inning with an infield single. Mike Aviles made a nice diving play on the line, but wasn't able to throw out Lugo. Roberts singled. Markakis hit a 2-run double. And then 3 batters later, Adam Jones drove in a run. Zach is at 93 pitches. Betancourt, and that ground ball leads him right to the bag. The Royals have turned 3 double plays. To the bottom of the 7th, Baltimore leads 3-1. The bottom of the 7th inning. Let's take a look at the Panera American League scoreboard. Blue Jays had the bases loaded with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th, but Cleveland hangs on for a 2-1 win. Boston over Detroit. The Tigers continue to sink in the Central Division. Oakland in front of Chicago, so that's an opportunity for Minnesota. They're a game and a half back. Tampa Bay is in front of New York. They have shaved the Yankees' lead to 1 game in the East. So the Rays, who led the East for much of the first half, overtaken by the Yankees, but Tampa Bay is not going away quietly. Jose Guillen has popped to second. He has flied out to left field and is just 1 for 11 in the series. Ferguson jumps ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Now I say to you this time, your thoughts.
Well, apparently it's cut off white t-shirt night. I don't remember reading that in the promo package. 4 strikeouts for Ferguson, and Guillen is 0 for 3. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Strike to Alex Gordon. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach who has a sudden fondness for cut-off white T-shirts. He's responsible for all of these pictures. So you can send all of your emails to www.asksteve.com with associate producers Al Broughton and Sam Abramson. And the producer of Royals Live is Jeff Graham. One ball, two strikes. Alex is reached on an error by first baseman Ty Wigginton and is grounded out to Wigginton. 2-2. Alex slowly trying to put things together. He's hit in 5 straight games. The biggest hit, of course, last night's walk-off home run. His first walk-off hit in the big leagues. His last walk-off home run was with Frank in 2006. And now he has a 6-game hitting streak with a 1-out single.
He's done a better job standing on his pitch away. The ball on the outside corner. You see how strong he is, Ryan. He takes his pitch and brings it back up the middle. And that's a pitch that you'd like to see him stay with and drive to left center field. So he's still working hard at it and getting his base hit, but slowly getting close to where he needs to be.
Do you remember the walk-off home run he hit for you?
I had so many good things to watch that year. I don't know. You got the team in a date?
No. Did they beat him to a pulp when he crossed home plate?
No.
No? Okay.
That's something new. I don't know. That's like everybody gets in a big huddle, start jumping up and down and turning circles and stepping on each other's toes and all that other crazy stuff. I don't know. Don't know where it came from.
And the way guys get pounded on now when they cross home plate, you might ask, well, why would you take your helmet off? And most guys will take their helmet off, but the reason they do that is because they will be a little gentler with you if your helmet is off. Guys who leave their helmet on, it's a license to really wail away.
If you come out with a black eye, that's a pretty good punch. I think the guy's probably better to slide in the home plate and just stay there on the ground.
Or just run right through. Hit and run, and look at that swing by Aviles to guide it into right field. Alex will go first to third. Excellent, excellent job by Mike Aviles.
You can see Brian Roberts leaves early. As soon as Alex takes off, he breaks to the bag and vacates that hole right away. And Mike Aviles had the whole right side to shoot for and got him a base hit in the right field. But that's what Mike Aviles is able to do. And this is what Ned Yost has options in these situations, that he can do this with almost any combination of his hitters in the lineup.
And now Mitch Meyer with 2 on, 1 out. And Mitch lines it to right field to make it a 1-run game. So on the day that Rick Ankiel is traded away and Mitch Meyer resumes being the starting center fielder, he has a home run in the 3rd inning and an RBI single in the 7th.
This is called taking advantage of opportunity, Ryan. And here he hits a home run in the right field bullpen, and that gets him going on the night. And you see that kind of fire from Mitch, that's a good sign. And here, with runners at first and third, a line drive to right field to bring home Alex Gordon.
Mitch started losing playing time when interleague play began, and it was no fault of his own, but of course no designated hitter in the National League cities. So the Royals decided to give Jose Guillen significant playing time in right field. David DeJesus slid over to center field. Mitch was the odd man out. And as the Royals were wrapping up interleague play, Rick Ankiel comes back from the disabled list. So he takes over in center field. Mitch really didn't do anything wrong. He was just kind of the odd man out. But no more games in the National League parks. Rick Ankiel is now a member of the Braves. And center field belongs to Mitch Meyer.
And Mitch realizes, too, the Royals have just traded for another center fielder also that will definitely be here. So anytime you can create competition, you get the best out of your players. And I think this is an opportunity for Mitch to do what he needs to do in order to keep his name in front of the organization and make the organization make decisions. And this is what the competition is all about. And you like to see baseball played like this.
One ball, one strike to Willie Bloomquist. Don't forget the 6+ pack offers Royals fans the ability to select between 6 and 16 games this season, including games against the Yankees and Twins at a special discounted rate. And as an added bonus, fans will receive all future notifications regarding the 2012 All-Star Game prior to the general public. Bloomquist is flied out and hit a soft line out to second base. Rounds it towards third, just foul. Bell wasn't sure. He was getting ready to unload his throw over to first base, but third base umpire Todd Tishner said it was just foul.
Well, Bell makes a great play on this just to stop the ball, Ryan. He probably didn't have a play at first base with Bloomquist running, but just be able to stop it where he did, he would have saved the run, definitely.
Clearly landed foul behind the bag, but of course it's not where the ball lands, it's where it crossed third base. So a bit of a hook on that foul ball. It's possible that it went over the bag fair and then landed foul, but Todd Tishner says no. So 1-2 on Bloomquist. Got him over the corner. Willie doesn't think so. And just kind of stands in protest before he heads to the dugout.
Well, you got 2 strikes on you, Ryan. And I'll tell you, 2 strikes, that's a little too close to take. You got to try to foul that pitch off and come back and try to get another one. But you don't want the umpire to call you out in that situation. You want to be in control yourself. Anything close, swing the bat.
And now Yuniesky Betancourt, who is flied to right field and grounded out to third. And that's drilled into the left field corner, hooking and foul. With one out, Alex Gordon singled. Mike Aviles on a hit and run singled. And with runners at first and third, Mitch Meyer's base hit drove in Gordon. Meyer has driven in both runs for the Royals. Grounded to Bell. He'll go down to second base, and that's the inning. So Bergeson gets through 7, gives up 2 runs, and it's a 1-run game.
Orioles lead the Royals 3-2 is the score here. Interesting developments in the Pacific Coast League as Omaha right now, the old Royals guys tied with Memphis 3-3 in the first inning. Mike Moustakas homered, and then Lucas May, the catcher who came over in that deal for Scott Podsednik, made his organizational debut. He homered, and then later on in the game, again Mike Moustakas for the second time. All three of those homers against Kyle Loge of the Cardinals, who is down there at AAA right now. Also another minor league note worth pointing out, Manny Pena, who was at AAA, the catcher, went back down to AA, and also Aaron Crow sent from AA down to High A Wilmington today, guys.
Huh. Thanks, Joel. 2 balls, no strikes. Well, the way Aaron Crow pitched in spring training with the Royals this year, looked like he was going to be up by the time the Royals were going to go to Washington. And I remember asking the question, do you think Aaron Crow will get booed when the Royals go to Washington? And my implication was, do you think he'll be with the team? Because he was drafted by the Nationals, decided not to sign, held out, signed with the Royals the next year, and got off to a pretty good start at AA and now back to High A ball.
That's really not a good sign, Ryan. That's a sign where you maybe it's a confidence thing with the pitcher when you move them back down, and then you look at the location of their pitches and the command of their pitches and how well you compete on a daily basis. So when you go to AA and then you get sent back to A ball, that's you're looking at maybe those two things.
Ryan Roberts singled and scored in the Orioles' 3-run sixth. 1 for 2 with a walk. And he was hit on the foot. So leadoff man on in the 8th inning. Tonight's Sprint You Call It. What recent move will benefit the Royals the most? And a tie between today's Rick Ankiel and Kyle Farnsworth trade to the Braves. The Royals getting 3 players. 2 will be here tomorrow. Gregor Blanco, an outfielder, Jesse Chavez, a pitcher, and Alex Gordon being called up from AAA. Thank you for texting in tonight. We shall see. Nick Markakis drove in 2 with a double in the 6th inning. Zach had 101 pitches.
Markakis got a changeup that Zach left up out over the plate and drove it to left center field for those 2 RBI.
This pitch a little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dusty Hughes warming up out in the bullpen. Dusty pitched a scoreless 7th inning last night. And then Kyle Farnsworth, in his last appearance as a Royal, gave up a couple of runs in the 8th. In the air to left field. And Alex Gordon in front of the warning track is there for the out. Ryan Roberts started to tag, but he holds. And there's 1 out. Final game of this 4-game series tomorrow afternoon. It's the final game of the homestand. Bruce Chen against Kevin Millwood. 12:30 with Hy-Vee Royals Live. First pitch is at 1:10. And then the Royals head back out to the West Coast. We were out there right before the All-Star break. The Royals will go to Oakland, Seattle for a second time, and then Anaheim. And that'll be our second trip to Anaheim. And the Royals have a nice long homestand following that. The New York Yankees will be making their only visit to Kansas City for a 4-game series. Cleveland will be here for 3. And the first place White Sox will be here for 3. So if nothing changes in the standings between now and then, the Royals will face a couple of first place teams.
Well, you know, every time the Yankees come to Kansas City, it's electric in Kauffman Stadium. Fans show up. Probably the crowd's kind of split. A lot of transplants from New York here come out to the ball game, and And it's one of those series that fans love to see. I would put it on the same level maybe as the Cardinals coming to Kansas City.
To second. Out at second. Double play. That's 4 double plays tonight behind Zach Greinke. Did he get a piece of that, or was that?
Royals Live along with Paul Splittorff. Highlights and reaction from this game. Analysis, we'll hear from Ned Yost, and we will break down a busy day of activities. Recap the Royals at the trade deadline, Ned Yost's contract extension, and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Guys?
All right, thank you, Joel. David Hernandez comes on for the bottom of the 8th inning. He pitched in the Orioles' 6-5 win on Thursday and was quite impressive in 2 innings. Gave up 1 hit, struck out 3. Royals send up the top of the order. And Chris Getz showing bunt and taking a strike. So Brad Bergeson and the Orioles have to be thrilled with his effort tonight. A struggling pitcher with an ERA of almost 7. He had lost his last 7 starts. But tonight, giving up just 2 runs, 5 hits in 7 innings. Mitch Meyer driving in both runs for the Royals with a solo home run in the 3rd inning and a single in the 7th. The Orioles got all 3 of their runs in the 6th. Still 0-2 on Getz. Grounded out in the 1st inning, walked in the 3rd, doubled in the 6th. So in his 2nd straight game as the Royals' leadoff man, he's been on base twice.
I really like his swing. He just got a nice, soft, compact swing. Doesn't try to do too much with it. Understands it, and just tries to play pepper with the outfield. He's trying to hit base hits and not trying to hit doubles and triples and home runs. You also have to be impressed with the way he's played second base, the way he's gone out the last couple nights and made the plays, turned the double plays, made tough plays look easy.
And that's into right center field. A long run for Markakis. He dives and he caught it. Wow, what a play by Nick Markakis in right center field, and even Royals fans can appreciate that.
Well, Ron, he takes a possible triple away from Chris Getz right here. He's playing shallow, and he just goes straight back as far as he can and reaches. The ball's by him, and he catches the ball behind him. You can see how far the ball's by him when he makes this catch. And being a left-hander really helps him on this play. I mean, he just stretches out. I mean, he's got long bodies out there, and I mean, what a great play.
And how big is that play now as Jason Kendall hits it to left field? He will hold with a single. So you never know what Kendall would have done if Markakis doesn't make the play, but Right now, it could be a tie game.
Well, it could be. I tell you, when you look at it, go back and look at a game, you'll always remember that play in right field by Nick Markakis. And there's a fastball by Hernandez right down the middle of the plate. And Jason turns on it. Nice short swing, line drive left field.
So Markakis, who has the great arm in right field, showing off his glove. And who knows, we'll see how the next inning and 2/3 go. That might be a game-saving catch. Billy Butler happy to see Bergeson out. He was 0 for 3, 2 ground balls to short, and a strikeout.
Well, Hernandez really is no picnic. That hard 97-mile-an-hour fastball, hard slider that he has, he can be difficult also.
That gets past Wieters, so no chance for a double play as Kendall moves up on a wild pitch.
In this pitch here, Hernandez just really buries this ball down in the ground and catches, I tell you, the hardest ball to block is that spike fastball right in front of the plate. Wieters didn't have a chance to move on that pitch.
We were impressed with Hernandez's slider on Monday, and maybe his best slider of the night was to Billy Butler. Locked him up, struck him out looking. That slider stayed up, and boy, would Billy like to have that pitch back.
Yeah, that's a hanger right there out over the plate, and a lot of guys know what to do with that. And Billy just got under it and tried to do a little too much and didn't keep his head on it and swung underneath the pitch. Now, Hernandez, Ryan, does lead the Orioles in wild pitches. That was his 8th wild pitch. So if the Royals can get Jason over to third, you just never know.
Wieters blocks that slider. That's big. That could have been a runner at third base with 1 out. So he's been busy trying to block pitches from Hernandez in this inning. Royals hoping to take the lead. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning, and if so, getting Joakim Soria ready for the top of the 9th. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
One question I'm going to ask Jason Kellum tomorrow. You have one of those games where the pitcher's throwing a lot of balls in the dirt. You're blocking these balls, keeping runners from advancing, and you go in after the game. And has there ever been a pitcher that brings you a Coke over or brings you a bottle of water and say, hey, man, really thanks for helping me out tonight? Or did the pitcher just walk by and say, hey, thanks for doing your job tonight?
Blasted deep into left field. Billy Butler puts the Royals in front. Billy Butler says to David Hernandez, not tonight.
Well, Hernandez left it down in Billy's wheelhouse. He didn't elevate it and get it up out over the plate. He kept it down, middle in, and Billy turned on this ball. He hit this ball a long way.
Ball 1 to Jose Guillen.
And you can see this pitch right here, right down the middle of the plate, and Billy jumps all over it. I mean, he just knew right away when he hit that pitch, Ryan, that ball wasn't coming back.
So Brad Bergeson cannot win it. He gives up 2 runs in 7 innings. Hernandez gives up 2 runs in 1/3 of an inning.
All right, that's what you call admiring your work right there. Now, this is knowing you got it, but you don't want to stand there and stare a little too long.
Still 1 ball, 2 strikes on Guillen. He is 0 for 3. Home run number 10, RBIs 50 and 51. Billy had been 0 for 3 prior to that 2-run home run. Now Guillen strikes out, 2 away. Well, it has come down to the work of the Orioles bullpen in this series so far. In game 1, the Orioles bullpen went 7 2/3 innings, did not allow an earned run, picking up for Brian Mattis, and they won. Last night, the bullpen gave up 4 earned runs and lost. And now the bullpen has given up 2 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning. And they will be down when the Orioles come up in the 9th. Now ball 1 to Alex Gordon. He's hitting 6 straight games, singled and scored in the 7th inning, coming home on Mitch Meyer's single. So Meyer and Butler have both driven in 2. Oh, no. 2-0. Two balls, 1 strike. Frank White saw Alex Gordon and Billy Butler and Mitch Meyer come up with some big hits in 2006. And they've come up with the big hits in the last 2 nights.
Well, it's nice to see your own players that you develop come up to the major leagues and do well. I think that's a good sign that the organization is getting better, and it's a little bit before Dayton Moore getting here and really establishing what he's already established in the minor leagues. But this is a good base for the young kids that will be coming up in the near future, to have these guys here kind of showing them the way, because they did come up through this organization.
Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, so much for the great play in right field by Nick Markakis. We thought that would be a game changer. Off the bat of Chris Getz, Jason Kendall with a single, Billy Butler with a 2-run home run. So the Royals hanging in there after that heartbreaking play by Markakis. And they might not be done yet. It's an interesting trend this year. The Royals are 10th in the league in runs scored. But at the same time, they have had so many rallies with 2 outs and nobody on base. And they did it again last night to win it. 2 outs, nobody on. Ankiel walked. Wilson Betemit singled. Willie Bloomquist ran for him, and Alex hit the 3-run home run. That was the 38th time this year. With 2 outs and nobody on base, the Royals scored at least 1 run. So David Hernandez, who was so good on Thursday night, 2 innings, gave up only a single, and struck out 3. Over the outside at 96 miles an hour.
Well, this is what he did the other night, Ryan. Just kept that ball right on the outside corner, ball and a half off the plate. And if the umpire's going to give it to you, you're going to stay right there. If you elevate it a little bit, then Aviles has a chance to hit it.
1-1 to Aviles.
I don't think Mike thought he had a strike on him.
One and two.
Yeah, I wonder what Mike said to James Hoy before that pitch, because that's 2 pitches right there that are definitely not hittable pitches.
And Aviles is down on strikes, but the Royals get 2 runs in the 8th inning. So we go to the 9th. Billy Butler with a 2-run home run to put the Royals in front by 1. Soria coming on for the save. Royals by 1 to the top of the 9th inning. Our Chevy call to the bullpen brings in closer Joaquim Soria, who has converted his last 20 save opportunities. The Orioles will send up Luke Scott, Adam Jones, and Felix Pie. And Luke Scott jumps on the first pitch and hits it hard, but right to Bloomquist in right field. Royals have a lead in the 9th inning thanks to our Chevy play of the game.
And that's going to go to Billy Butler. Long 2-run homer to left field. Looks like he's been waiting on that for a while, the way he stood there and admired it. But he did a great job getting ahead of the bat out on that ball and driving it to left field over the left field bullpen.
And now Adam Jones. And Soria starts him off with a strike. Jones with 2 hits and an RBI tonight. He had been 0 for 12. One and one. Soria pitched in the game on Thursday. 1 inning, allowed a base runner on an error. Converted his 20th consecutive save on Saturday in New York. Jones down, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Soria did not face Adam Jones when he appeared on Thursday. And he has faced him 3 times before tonight. Jones 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. And the rainbow curveball almost hit him on the elbow. Struck him out. 2 down in the 9th inning. 25,055 at Kauffman Stadium for Game 3, a beautiful Saturday night. Royals will assure themselves of at least a split in the 4-game series if they can get the final out here in the 9th inning. Soria trying to get past Felix P.A. He is 1 for 3. 0-1. This will be the first time that Soria and P.A. have hooked up. Orioles got all 3 of their runs in the 6th inning off of Zach Greinke. The Royals with 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 7th, and 2 in the 8th. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ned Yost signing a 2-year contract extension before the game tonight. So he will manage the Royals until at least 2012. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's one of those situations, Ryan, where if you're going to go forward, you want to go forward with a guy that you think can develop young players. And Dayton Moore feels like Ned Yost is the right guy to bring in at this time. He's at the right right at the beginning of all these young guys coming up. And Ned said himself that even at Milwaukee, he felt that the guys that he started with there was even younger than what the Royals have here. So everybody's looking for good things.
Curveball stayed up, and P.A. keeps the Orioles alive with a 2-out single.
They get the guy with a long swing right and throw that big lazy breaking ball right in the middle of the plate, and they got time to make the adjustment. And Felix P.A. did a good job of making the adjustment to a 69-mile-an-hour curveball.
So Matt Wieters, who singled his last time up, grounds to Getz, out at second base, and the Royals take Game 3. So in his first game as permanent manager of the Royals come up with a win for Ned Yost. Zach Greinke, who left the game down 3-2, comes up with his 7th win of the year. Joakim Soria saves his 21st consecutive game. And the Royals get another big home run late, as they did last night. Alex Gordon with a 3-run home run in the 9th inning tonight. It's Billy Butler with a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 8th. And it didn't take very long for the Royals to beat the Orioles.